having a network of people around you, you need people around. You can't do this.
Welcome to Unstoppable Podcast with Harry Sardinas, inspiring conversations with influential millionaires, investors, thought leaders, entrepreneurs who are making a massive difference with their innovative products and services, and sharing the challenges and the wisdom of how they sold their first million.
So Simon, tell us, how can we do to groom entrepreneurs effectively so they can actually grow the business and don't fail, like the studies like we have in all over the world, but especially 90% of businesses failing in the first 2 years. They don't sell the first million. They don't get the product market fit. So what can we do?
Well, well, first of all, Harry, what I will say is this is a great question for me, because my job is building entrepreneurs. So a long time ago, I understood that in most cases, entrepreneurs aren't born, they're made, they're built. And a lot of it comes through them building themselves through trial and error. They fail.
It's a skill. It's a skill set. The more you practice, the better you become. The more you practice, being an entrepreneur is a skill. Everybody can be a good entrepreneur. It's just like the more you practice, the better you become. Exactly.
Yeah. It's like being a tennis player.
Or driving.
Or driving. If you don't practice, you now. The thing about entrepreneurship.
Can you define practice, Simon? Because this is when the thing goes wrong. People don't like this practice because the practice with the entrepreneur is failing, is losing money, is adapting, is listening to your customer. This is a type of practice that entrepreneurs don't like, this type of practice.
Yeah,
and otherwise they don't get the skill, right?
People don't actually understand what it means to be an entrepreneur. And they don't understand the job of an entrepreneur. What they see is the glamour of the superstar entrepreneurs, the ones they work with. They see the investment these people gain. They see the dream that the
exits for so many millions.
The exits, and they hear about the failures as if it was just we make all these failures and it's
even in this podcast we only hear about successes. So the successes they're all over the place. Nobody talks about failure.
And we have a cultural difference. So I'm in the UK, where the last thing we would talk about is failure. It's from a shame. Whereas many entrepreneurs, it's we've this many businesses have failed. It's a badge of honor, and then we got the one to succeed, and everybody cheers. But no, in the UK, it's like, shh, don't tell anybody that I'm not very good at this.
If I tell you all the failures that I have done, I will depress you. You will start crying here. All the mistakes that I have.
But the thing about building an entrepreneur is you don't have to have these failures and spend lots of money, because if you turn it on its head and say, well, actually, as an entrepreneur, I'm experimenting with customer problems. So, and with experiments, any scientist doesn't get this experiment right first time. They experiment, they put a little bit more in, they change this, they change that. So if you're doing experiments early on about customers and customer groups and finding what they really need and making assumptions and testing them and putting hypotheses, testing them, and they're not working, you're not failing, you're experimenting. So it's a mindset. Entrepreneurship is a mindset as well as what you do. It's not, this isn't failure. This is understanding and learning. Then you
practicing
learn.
Is gaining the skill.
You practice and you learn. You practice and you learn. But don't practice spending lots of money. No, that's crazy. Practice for free and there's lots you can do by observing customer behavior, by building a wait list or doing customer interviews. Most people don't know how to do customer interviews. They'll say, Harry, I've got this idea. What do you think? Now, what's somebody going to say? They're not going to say, look, that's a terrible idea. But that's a terrible question.
Oh, yeah.
So that doesn't give me
Once I had a brilliant idea a long time ago I put a Harry Spanish tapas. I opened a restaurant in Brick Lane. Imagine
Yep.
that in the middle of all the curry houses, I thought that was a good idea. Bring alternative food, all halal, to the market. Yeah, I'm telling you back of the day. Yeah, so I didn't ask to anybody. I thought that my idea was brilliant, and I thought I'm gonna change the landscape of Brick Lane. Long story short, I lost 200,000 pounds. I lost my girlfriend back in the day. It was a total disaster. Now you go to Brick Lane, and actually, I think everybody was waiting for me to fail. So after everybody went and do it, everybody said, let's see how much Harry can last with this. And everybody was kind of waiting. And yeah, I was way too early because I didn't have any clue how
that's
to run
timing.
restaurants.
That's another thing. That's timing. About the right idea.
Yeah. I didn't have any clue how to run restaurants. I didn't have any clue that my property business, we managed to sell over 5 million. This one have huge profit margins and everything. And the restaurant is completely different ballgame. Like in the room business, I have someone that rent the room for £800, and the guy stood in the room 14 yeas for one client and pay me £100 for 14 years. Then I go to a restaurant, somebody spent £40 and I have 40% food cost, this and that. I'm left with £3. I'm like, what kind of business I end up? You really need to like food. Yeah, I like to eat it a lot, but the business of it is you need to really be passionate about if you want.
Those two customers have different lifetime value to you. The one that spent every month for 14 years in the lifetime of their business transaction with you was a lot of money.
That's what I was used to. I was used to that. Then I go to a restaurant and I said, this business is going to kill me.
But people don't think about lifetime value of customers. They don't think that way. They just
and about customer acquisition also. Look at me. That's the other thing as well with the restaurant. Look at this. I had the brilliant idea that I want. It was, look, I'm right. Look, in my house, I didn't have any clue about anything. I call it, right and call it Lola Pepe. That would be a good idea. No, I call it my name, Harry Spanish Tapas. Back then I was young. I have a big ego, and I thought I was the king of the world because I was making a lot of money in the property, and I thought that I knew about business. And then I go there to Brick Lane and said, look, I want a guitar on the ceiling because this is a Spanish restaurant, and this restaurant is going to be so good that clients just going to pass by Brick Lane and it's going to go. So I want a guitar in the ceiling. My business look at me. I remember Matt, the Polish. I said, Harry, do you really want it? Do you need this guitar? For us to do this guitar in the ceiling, we need to close this restaurant for 2 months. It's a big thing. If you want it, we do it. But have you think this through? Of course, and I think through. Clients will come. Look, the guitar, we made the guitar. In fact, the restaurant was closed for 2 months and a half, paying rent, paying everything. Guess what happened? It was so beautiful that after 2 months and a half, this restaurant opened in Brick Lane. One of those days that it was like a celebration in Brick Lane, the launch, where a lot of people was walking in Brick Lane, like a Sunday like this. We opened the door. You know how many people get in? 0. And I'm like, oh my God, this is not gonna, how come nobody see my restaurant? So 0. And that was a big lesson.
Yeah, and sometimes it's timing, sometimes it's presentation. Where I live, they've
I thought the clients will come. Because my restaurant was beautiful. They don't come when your restaurant is beautiful.
There are other things. Clients are irrational.
Took us 8 months, a year to find out that we put in a Spanish omelette and we cut it in pieces and people try it. That's how that we're going. Took us a year.
You're experimenting until you find out what the customers want.
Long story short, now the restaurant is a Chinese restaurant, halal as well in Brick Lane. And the other day I passed by there, and guess what happened? It's a Chinese restaurant, and my guitar is still there. The Chinese guy arrived there and said, well, this is a Chinese restaurant, but I'm not going to remove this guitar to make it Chinese. Keep it, and, it's running very successfully. So the point of the story, Simon, is that sometimes because we have a successful business, entrepreneurs, we think that we know about business, and that skill is not mature yet until you have more than one. Yeah. Yes. Or until you go to the different phases of that one that you have. Good one, because that's the other thing as well. Go to 0 to 1 million is completely different to go from 1 million to 10 million, completely different to go to 10 million to 100 million. You have to actually unlearn and relearn again. And sometimes you're not good in that phase. Some people are good from 0 to 1, other people are good to 1 to 10 million. We have people in this podcast that they are good from 100 million plus to a billion. That was their thing. That was what they specialize. So and then we have the entrepreneurs in the middle that they think that they want to become an entrepreneur because they have they have this idea, but it's gonna take a little bit more than that, because developing this skill is, you need to have a lot of setbacks, you have to put a lot of hours, and then you need to find a mentor. And this is something that very little entrepreneurs, they do it. They say, no, what's the point to find a mentor? I don't have money. Well, you don't have money for anything, right? But how important is a business mentor for the entrepreneurs that, especially like me, at very young age, that they think that they know everything. And then when you have a major setback, you realize that you're a nobody and you're not a big deal as you thought, and you still need to learn a lot. And it's a way long journey in order to become a serial entrepreneur or a successful entrepreneur. So tell us, Simon, why people don't want to hire coaches and mentors?
Well, I think, first of all, people don't have enough confidence in their ideas and themselves that to actually spend their own money on it. So, and you would think, well, why don't I hire somebody with some experience? But spending your own money for somebody to try and teach you something you're not really believing or knowing enough about.
You don't really believe in your product.
Really
you believe, yeah.
So it's easy, it's easy for somebody to hire a business coach or a business mentor when they're paying for it out of business revenue and they can improve it. But I'm at the beginning and I've only got a little bit of money. And so why should I hire an expert to help me? Because it might not work and I'm going to waste the one little bit of money I've got, and I could better spend it on designing a website because I want to make things. So people, what you often get is people very contradictory. People going, well, they're not willing to invest their own money in their own idea, and so they look for everything that's free or where they can get other people's money because they don't really have enough confidence in it. And then on the other side, I get people, these exact same people saying, well, yeah, but it's such a genius idea. You're going to have to sign an NDA. You're going to have to, this intellectual property. And I'm, an NDA, really? The thing you can do is find some people that are interested in this, not try and hide
and
it.
see if they can pay you some money.
An idea out there.
And see if they can pay you some money before so many NDAs, yeah?
So the thing is, people are making the same mistakes at the beginning because they don't know what they don't know, Harry. Where it would be much better for them to get an experienced mentor to point out what they don't know and to guide them and to make them understand the process, to give them some of the confidence of what it takes. That's what a mentor can do. And one of the very important things, as I'm sure you found probably in the early days, is having a network of people around you. You need people around. You can't do this.
And then
you can't do this without having people to bounce ideas off, or people that can say, I can introduce you to so and so. You want to open up a restaurant? I know somebody who's done this before.
Follow us for more interviews with world's most influential, audacious entrepreneurs that overcame challenges and adversity, providing you with the blueprint of how they sold their first million so you can grow your business exponentially.